Lompoc.
Good morning, Lompoc.
How is everyone this week?
Hope you guys are doing really well.
Yeah.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It
Guys
is
made
Monday, just letting you know.
Made it through the weekend.
Forgot.
Hope you guys are all well. Still abiding by some quarantine rules.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Staying home quite a bit, but hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of sunshine. We got a tiny bit of rain last night.
Yeah,
really
surprising.
Nice. Freshen up the air a little
Yeah.
bit. Michelle, we have a fun show.
We
to start
do.
the week.
It's a lot of fun today. No politics at all today or any real political talk of any kind. But we have a lot of fun local updates. We also have a fun little recipe video on Kohlrabi,
Kohlrabi.
which you might have been playing with already over the weekend.
I noticed a few people are new to the Dare to Dream Farm CSA box, and in that box was Kohlrabi, and a lot of people they weren't sure what to do with it.
Yep.
So we thought, hey, Michelle's cooked with it quite a bit, so maybe we could make a little recipe.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah.
And then we also had an awesome interview with the Crockers, who own Grocery Outlet here in town.
Grocery Outlet,
and
bargain market.
it was so difficult to edit because obviously, as you know, they're just wonderful people, and we really enjoyed our conversation with them. So it's a little bit longer, but I think you'll really appreciate it. It gives us really good perspective on what the grocery business has been like the last few months. Right.
Yeah.
And then did we mention that we are taking off this Wednesday?
Yes, we are taking off this Wednesday.
Yes.
So that'll just give us time to make a more amazing show for Friday. Yeah. And at the end of today's show, super excited. Thank you, Jacob Cole, for sharing Angelina's latest video with us. Angelina LaPointe, her and her band called Angie and the Nightmares, put together this awesome virtual video, kind of teleconferencing style, that we're going to play right at the end of the show. So make sure you stay tuned for that, for Angie and the Nightmares.
Yes.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah, and a few of our young associate producers are back on the show today, so we have some reports from them, which is a lot of fun.
Oh,
so
fashion advice?
Some fashion advice as well. We'll give you a few tips on how to zoom better and make yourself look more
if Zoom
beautiful.
Is working,
So we're going to try that. So
yes.
Anyways, you wanted to chat a little bit about there's an update on the Hi Let's Eat sign, right?
Yeah, let's see. So thanks to the Lompoc Valley Historical Society for putting this on our radar. I know there's a lot going on, but a small, fun little GoFundMe that's popped up is the Restore the Hi Let's Eat sign. And if you're a Lompoc local, you know that this sign was here starting around the 1960s, early 1960s. It stood outside of Halama Burger for years, and I think 2 or 3 years ago it was taken down. But fortunately, instead of going in the trash heap, the Lompoc Historical Society put their heads and their money together a little bit, at least to preserve it. And now it's going to be headed off to a local fancy car refurbishment place that they're going to refurbish the whole sign. And one cool thing about the GoFundMe is for $20, you can buy a light bulb that goes in the sign. And I believe there's 280 bulbs that needs to go in there. So anyway.
That's so cool. We bought a light bulb, right?
Yes, we did buy a light bulb. And when it's all done and fixed, it's going to show up at American Host Restaurant, which has been a staple here for a long time. We've been big fans of trying to get anything. There's so many cool neon signs here in Lompoc. It's a really cool feature.
Yeah.
It'd be really great to have those refurbished over time and sparkle again.
So, yeah, especially to walk around at night and have those things be on, right? That would be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And then our weatherman, our best weather guy is back.
I'm second best weather guy still.
Well, Brad is.
Well, Brad,
yeah.
Brad.
So let's get an update for this week on weather.
To the Lompoc weather. I'm your best weather guy, Danny Miranda. Here are your weekly report. The highs is going to be a little bit cloudy, but Thursday is going to be the hottest day of the week. Bye.
He is back.
He is back.
The Miranda curls have returned.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brittany, for putting that together for us. And
yes, I'm not totally sure what he said the whole time, but I think that the weather's going to be a little bit cooler this week. So
but
that's
it's
what I got out
Lompoc,
of it.
so that means there's no snow, no sleet, no random, lightning and tornadoes. Maybe an earthquake once in a while.
Yeah.
And a pandemic, but we'll make it through.
Right.
I think.
So as we know, people are getting really creative with their birthday celebrations. So on Friday, there was a birthday celebration at a local park here in town, and Jeremy got invited.
So I have to tell you, so Michelle Schaefer, who's a big fan and shares this show so much, thank you for being such a big fan. Michelle put on my radar that there's a group of senior citizens that used to be able to go and play tennis almost daily or at least once a week. And since that's kind of been shut down, they've been going to all the parks in Lompoc, practicing their social distancing and all those things, but they've been getting some sunshine. And Michelle invited me because a lady who used to write in the Lompoc Record, her name is Allie. Let me make sure I get this right. Don't want to mess this up. Allie K. Spalding. A lot of you that have been here for a long time will remember her. She celebrated her 89th birthday party. And Michelle Schaefer's mother-in-law was there, and she's 86. And she could probably run laps around me. So I was very impressed with these senior citizens. And we made a little video about it.
Awesome.
It's nice to see people out and
that
about.
was the first time I saw that. So,
so happy birthday
birthday
to Allie and many, many more. And I look forward to reading some of her past articles in the Lompoc Record.
You printed out one, and it was about her getting.
So
she
much
wanted
history.
to see what it was like to get arrested.
Yeah, she literally wrote an article about getting arrested on purpose from the Lompoc Police Department and being processed and fingerprinted and the whole deal. And that was written in 2006. So if you're looking for some history of Lompoc, look up Allie K. Spalding on Google. Find some cool stuff.
That was I just started to read it. So another thing I found actually yesterday on NPR, they were sharing a episode of this really cool podcast called Rough Translation. You might have heard of it. It's kind of more, they focus on international stories. But this was it blew me away. So this is in Jerusalem. They had recovering coronavirus patients. They were all put at a hotel there. And it was people from all walks of life. So they had Jewish people, Palestinians, religious people who are Orthodox, secular, and they just loosened up and they got together and they had this great time, and they did yoga. I can't be playing the volume, but if you go to their page, you can see all these fun videos, but they were doing yoga. They also had a faux wedding, it seems. That'll come up next here. I'm not sure what's happening because I didn't translate it. They were also just having these awesome dance parties. So meanwhile, while we can't, be meeting in person or hugging each other or dancing or hanging out, all these people, because they were recovering from the coronavirus, got to do just that. So they did group exercise classes and...
That's pretty crazy.
Uh-oh. Anyway, so it was just an awesome story. So if you haven't heard it already, I would highly recommend it.
So look up Hotel Corona.
Well, Hotel Corona, but go to Rough Translation on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast. God, I sound like the commercial, but but if you go there, they also have links to like a blog post from one of the comedians that was out there, and
it's a really beautiful story of humanity rising above some of the divisions and making something better out of it. So it's a really cool story.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Unfortunately, they've closed that hotel. Oh, the other cool thing was the manager of that hotel chose to stay on even though he didn't have the coronavirus. So he risked his own health, obviously, in order to stay on to give everybody a hospitality experience. So people were treated as if they were real hotel guests versus almost like a military camp, which is what it could have turned into. So anyways, I thought that was an amazing story.
That is an amazing story.
Anyway.
All right, where are we going next?
So you also had some news on the food bank?
Yes, thank you. Let's see, who put this on my radar? Food bank. Aubrey Holzer reached out and put this on our radar, so we want to make sure and get the word out. On May 30th, there's going to be a food drive for the local food bank here in Lompoc. If you search on Facebook for Friends of the Lompoc Food Pantry, you can find more details. But again, May 30th, and there's 6 or 7 drop-off spots. But yeah, if you can participate, if you have something to donate but can't drop it off and need someone to pick it up, let us know. We'll make sure that happens as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a good thing.
Yep.
Good cause. Yeah.
So speaking of food, I want to do a little recipe video on kohlrabi because people got it in our we also got it in our CSA box last week, and it's a weird looking vegetable. Almost looks like an octopus of some sort, and it's super versatile. So anyways, we put together a fun little video that almost just seems like now looking back, it looks like a weird infomercial. So please excuse
Thank you
the
to
music.
Dare to Dream for growing great vegetables.
So if you're part of a local CSA like Dare to Dream Farms here in Lompoc, you might be wondering what the heck to do with this. This is kohlrabi. It's in the brassica family, which includes things like cabbage, kale, Brussels sprouts, but it honestly tastes more like a turnip, and I often cook it similarly to how I would cook potatoes. It's also extremely nutrient dense and chock full with vitamin C, fiber, and potassium, but it's extremely versatile too. Everything except for that thick skin on the outside is edible, so if you get it fresh with the leaves attached, you can chop these up and put them into salads. With the heart inside, you can grate it and eat it raw in salads. You can also chop it up and roast it in the oven like you would root vegetables, or you can boil it and whip it with butter as a substitute for mashed potatoes. But today, I'm going to do kohlrabi home fries with a dill aioli that will make you forget all about French fries, at least for a little while. Let's start with the aioli first. So I'm using a whole egg and an egg yolk, a teaspoon of lemon juice, and a clove of chopped garlic. Add a touch of oil to the glass, and with your immersion blender turned on, you begin the emulsification process. Slowly add about a cup of oil. At first, it'll be pretty liquidy, and then as you get closer, it'll start to thicken quite a bit. And I'd always use a rather neutral oil, so grapeseed oil or avocado oil would both be excellent options. Once your aioli is thickened, add about a teaspoon of freshly chopped dill, or more if you're a dill fan, and a dash of salt, and then refrigerate. Now with the kohlrabi, we're going to peel off the tough outer layers. You can also save the leaves for salads, and then cut it into the shape of a home fry or into the shape of more of a matchstick. In a bowl, add a couple tablespoons of semolina flour or rice flour, along with a dash of salt. Then toss your kohlrabi fries lightly in the flour mixture. Heat a heavy bottom pan on the stove, add your oil. I'm using grapeseed oil here, but you could also use coconut oil or avocado oil, and carefully place your kohlrabi fries. When they're golden on one side, turn to the other side. It's usually about 2 minutes per side. I would start with rather low heat because they can burn pretty easily. After they're nice and golden brown, which usually takes about 6 minutes, place them on a paper towel and have them cool a bit before serving. All right, so we finished our kohlrabi home fries. I learned a couple things in making these. First of all, this shape is ideal because then you really only had to cook 2 sides. They cooked a lot faster that way versus this shape, which you had to cook all 4 sides. Also, I learned not to have the heat on too high because they burned pretty easily. So my first batch was kind of a dud. They still tasted really good, but if you have the temperature at about a 4 on your stove, I think that's perfect. And then in addition, they're not quite as crispy as a traditional French fry, but if you have an air fryer, that might be one way to get it a little bit crispier. They are still so delicious though, so I would highly recommend trying these. They were really, really good.
Time to buy an air fryer, maybe?
Yeah. Well, if we only get it for kohlrabi fries, it'd be kind of pointless.
Yeah, that's true.
That was like
They
the
were
first
really,
time
really
where
tasty.
I was like, damn, I wish I had an air fryer.
Yeah, and for all of you folks that love mayonnaise, aioli is similar to mayonnaise.
It is mayonnaise.
It is mayonnaise.
Yeah.
So it's basically the recipe how to make your own mayonnaise.
Basically.
Which is way better than the store-bought stuff. Just saying. So,
yeah.
Just a thought.
So,
let's get into our
interview with the Crockers.
So excited
right?
to talk to the Crockers. So the Crockers, they are some younger folks. Do I feel old? I guess
you
maybe
are
a little
old.
bit. But they own the local grocery outlet here. So it's a locally owned grocery store. They work their butts off to keep the stores, keep stuff on the shelves, take care of their employees and take care of their customers.
Yep.
They're always bringing out fun little surprises and new things that always blow our minds.
Yep.
So I get lost in there several times. But
all the time, right?
Well,
but for one, grocery outlet here in Lompoc, I think opened in 2012, and the Crockers bought it, I believe, in 2014, and they were a management power couple. So they went to different grocery outlets and helped them get started, and they had been at the one in Atascadero, which is how they heard about the Central Coast, had never been to Lompoc. Then they were up in Washington and then heard that the Lompoc one was selling. So they flew down here to check it out and check out the town, and they had a great first impression. And I'm so glad that they stayed because they completely transformed that grocery outlet. I wasn't a huge fan before they took over.
It used to be sort of sparse and not much stuff.
Yeah, when they took over, I just felt like it was so fresh, and I'm always finding fantastic organic treats there.
It really is our family grocery store for what it's worth. There's other options here in town, and sometimes we have to go grab stuff from them. But
I rarely go to those, so it works out so well. So I was a little bit of a fangirl when I was talking to them because I feel like they're just...
And they are already super famous, way more famous than anything we've ever done because they have an incredible social media program.
Yes, they're hilarious.
And they have fans around the country and the world checking in on their social media. So if you're not following Grocery Outlet Bargain Market here in Lompoc, you should be because they're really funny.
Yes.
Enjoy our interview. You guys were a management team, but where did you guys find all this energy and passion to create what you have now that's thriving?
I think we've always been kind of passionate about helping people, which this gives us a pretty solid platform to do that. We're not just selling groceries. That's what we do, but it's not what we do.
Yeah. We are kind of both servants by nature, and that lends itself well to a good experience for customers. And then I like to do different things. I like to look different and feel different and have a different environment that we're coming into. And we both, I think, lean heavily on that whole concept in different ways. So when it came to marketing our store, putting both of our strengths together there, sometimes it's Alix kind of reeling me in on some of those things that are maybe a little too out there. Our store manager, Carrie, she's been with us now 4 years. 4.5 years. It's been a while now. But she blends right into that. So Carrie and I mesh really well with that whole marketing concept, and I think that's lent itself well to the whole experience that people have. And we truly enjoy it. Like Alix said, we're not just selling groceries. There's a whole other side to the store that is really our passion, and the groceries is kind of the side business to the whole helping people, community involvement, some of the fun marketing we do. So it's kind of the base platform for everything else.
Did you anticipate the craze that was leading up to people coming and buying all the toilet paper?
I wouldn't say we expected.
It was not anticipated.
No,
not to that extent.
Not to that extent.
Yeah.
No, I think that was the thing, is that we did anticipate some things, but not all things. I mean, there were certain categories of items that started selling out that we were kind of bewildered by, like vinegar, like just white vinegar. A lot of people use it to clean. And so, and you see that now with like yeast and other products that are still hard to find in some stores. When all of the convenience stuff is gone, people just get all the way down to the base level of like the raw ingredients of making the bread. You know, if bread's hard to find, then they're getting all the way to the yeast and the flour and everything else, and then those become shortages. So I think we anticipated some of the regular stuff that you would expect on the staples, the rice, the beans, some of the canned goods, and we did pretty good managing some of those categories, but some definitely surprised us and had a scramble in there for a minute.
Overall, almost overwhelmingly, everyone's just been so supportive and understanding and patient and with all of the changes that sometimes were coming hourly, it felt like we would not have made it through those first few weeks without our people. We literally were doing 24 plus hour shifts at a few points. I don't think we saw our kids for like 5 days right in the beginning there, because we were pretty much living at the store, just trying to get stuff in order, get stuff on the shelves for people. And our employees were such a huge part of that.
You guys are considered, I mean, in our estimation too, beyond essential workers. You're seeing a lot of the community a lot of the times. Tell us about a little bit of that either challenge or that process and how that's worked.
No one has any answers. So it's just kind of playing it literally day by day sometimes on any of the new ordinances or suggested ideas from CDC. And it's been a balancing act for sure.
Yeah, it's been, I think it's been one chaos after another. I think in the last couple weeks, we've seen a little bit more normalcy. And when I say normalcy, I don't mean actual normalcy. I just mean like things are leveled out a little bit more. But, initially there was the surge in shoppers and it was buying everything. So our first priorities is getting shelves filled up and managing that and trying to manage customer flow, getting more cashiers. So we would finish up a day at the store and then we would go home and try to anticipate what might be like the next thing so we can try to get ahead of it. And it was just so frustrating for like 3 weeks there where there was no way to get ahead of it because it was something new almost every single day.
Even in the beginning, when other grocery store shelves, you were seeing photos of them being completely empty, you guys still found a way to make your store shelves look full, even if you just spread out product. It kept me from freaking out when I would go into your store and shop. Was that a conscious decision?
We hate anything empty on the shelf, period. Just as like grocers and as like natural merchandisers, it's like, why is there a hole there when we could have product there that we could be selling? And to your point, we don't want people to feel that there is some kind of pandemic going on. While there is, and we're very aware of that, we do want to provide as normal of an experience as possible when you come into our store. And even if, we're all still wearing face coverings and things, at least there's a way to achieve some kind of normalcy by coming in.
I think some of it too is that we're able to do that because we're just mom and pop store. Whereas some of the bigger stores, they have to continue to follow a schematic. So they can't spread their stuff out or move stuff around. It has to be on shelf number 3 within these 6 inches of space. And that's it. That's the only place they're allowed to have it. And so I think we have that as a benefit for us as well.
And that's been the beauty of what we do, is that we can react immediately versus waiting and then planning it out and asking all these people for all these things. Because we are a mom and pop, so we can just make it happen.
Yeah.
And minus pandemic, just regular old times, we're able to be like, oh, this is a really popular item. Let's bring this in for our community because it does well here.
And so you're juggling being parents and also working with partners in the community to help make that all work in your guys' life.
And don't you foster too?
We do.
So obviously this is a lot on your plate. Do you want to talk about how that's going?
We have 3 kids at home, and it's been a lot. Just juggling the extra at the store as it is, and worrying about safety of our family and our employees and their families and all of our customers. We're also doing Zoom classes for school, which is a weird new world. It's amazing. It's been amazing seeing the ingenuity and the adaptability of humans.
Yeah, there's been lots of weeks where we don't really, we question why we're doing what we're doing, but we're very quickly reminded by the Lompoc community, by customers in our store, that we are doing the right thing. Just people that are so thankful for us being here, even before the pandemic, before all these crises that have been happening. It really has been nonstop, either around town or in our store, that people are just so thankful for our store being there, for what we do for the community. They enjoy our stupid commercials that we make, things like that. And we hear it everywhere. And that has really kept us going over the last few years. And I think really helped fuel a lot of that energy that helps us keep doing additional things like now fostering and other things that we have planned down the road here.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you to the Crockers.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I know you're so busy too, so thank you for taking the time to
Yes.
sit with us
Do
and
we
chat
want
with
to sing the
us.
song that we just love? This
Grocery Outlet, Bargain Market.
Every time we're in this store, we sing that religiously. It's sort of grocery store karaoke at GO.
It is. We love you guys.
Thank you to the Crockers. Hey, stick around. We've got about 8 or 10 minutes left.
Yes.
Amazing performance from Angie and the Nightmares to close out the show.
Yes.
But first, we've got some fashion advice.
Yes, because we probably have at least another week or so of shelter in place, and you're going to have to keep up the Zoom look. And in case you've been doing it wrong this whole time, we have Haley White here to show you how to Zoom better with some good fashion advice.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Haley.
Hello there. Today, I'm going to be showing you step by step how to contact with your friends by Zoom so that you can just have a play date, have fun with your friends or family while the coronavirus is around. First step is to make sure that your background is appropriate. I'm going to cover this up. Step 1 complete. Second step is to take off anything before doing your hair. And that's what I'm gonna do. Step 2, check. Next, you're gonna have to do your eyeshadow. This one looks good. Settle is key. That looks good. Lipstick after mascara. This hack is from 1985. That looks good. That looks good. Time for lipstick. This looks good. Gotta make the lips big. Next, there's one more thing that everyone needs. Big lipstick. That looks good. Haley, there's a dinosaur in my bed. Be quiet, I'm trying to zoom. Oops, make sure that mic is off when you do that. One more thing, make sure that your outfit is appropriate. Check. And then that means you're all set. Good luck. This feels better. Bye.
All right, Haley, that was pretty awesome.
Nice.
We had to take you up on some of your advice.
How do I look?
Haley, how did Jeremy do?
I tried to follow along in real time. Thank you, Haley. Yeah, she's so helpful.
Yeah, she's
super helpful.
But seriously, look in the camera and show them your long eyelashes. Oh my gosh, I'm so jealous of those. Do you know how much
1985.
mascara it takes to make me look like I burned off my eyelashes? So, anyways.
I would offer you mine, but they're not detachable.
Haley, I think this is a great look. So
Thank you,
so much
Haley.
for helping Jeremy out to make him look a little bit better.
I'm ready for a Zoom all day. Are you guys ready to Zoom with me?
I sure hope so. Do you want to introduce
It's okay.
Angie
It's
and the
okay.
Nightmares?
Guys can wear makeup once in a while, too, I think. It's okay. So you've waited for it, and it's going to pay off because next we have Angie and the Nightmares. Now, I have to tell you guys, and Angie, if you're watching, Angelina, full name, if you're a big fan of Angie and the Nightmares, you have this. And this came out in
This matches your lipstick.
I know, it's so
Okay.
pretty. So this came out in 2010. I was shocked because I was going back. How long have I known Angelina? I met her years before this, and I feel stupid because I had either got a couple of these, but I
Wait,
never
you
opened
feel
it.
stupid now?
I do feel stupid. I never opened this on the inside, which I never saw, and I am so sorry. But this is 10 years. This was inside of my CD, so I just want to show it off.
That's rad. She's an amazing
She's
artist.
also, yeah.
Oh my God.
Music is a piece of her art, but she's just an amazing artist. She
So
designed
creative.
her own covers. Anyway, full of creativity.
Yep.
So considering there's the pandemic and everyone has to stay in
Mm-hmm.
and there's the distancing thing, they had already recorded a song, but they decided to make a music video to that song in a teleconferencing style. So it's a really fun update, and we're so excited to share it with you guys. If you're not following Angie and the Nightmares, look them up. I think you can hear them on Spotify.
Yep.
You can find them on Instagram. You can find them on Facebook. They're a lot of fun, and they do Lompoc
so
music.
So many fun videos. Oh. They sure do.
Let's get my makeup off this screen.
Yeah, well, we will. But that was that will be the end of our show. So just remember, we will be taking this Wednesday off, and we'll be back this Friday, and we'll also have happy hour this Friday with Kate and Norm from Flying Goat Sellers.
Flying Goat. So don't miss that. So again, we're not here Wednesday. Amazing show on Friday. So set your reminders. We'll see you at 8:30 on Friday. Now, here is Angie and the Nightmares.
Good morning, Lompoc. I'm Angie from The Nightmares, and we're excited to share our new single, Talking. We shot this video individually on our phones in self-isolation, and then I edited them all together. I had to listen to myself for about 20 hours. We hope that you enjoy this song, and thank you so much, Jeremy and Michelle, for having us.
We've been talking, staying up all night. I've been trying to reach your body through the phone. I've been feeling kinda thirsty on this cross-country flight, and I've got some things to say when I get home. It's not like before. I want you on the floor. And love, I think it's time for you to choose. Honey, close the door. This time I want more. And talking is the last thing that we'll do. Honey, we've been talking. I've got so much to say. It's your voice in my head when I'm alone. Miss this connection, the one that got away, the oldest love that I have ever known. It's not like before. I want you on the floor. And love, I think it's time for you to choose. Honey, close the door. This time I want more. Talking is the last thing that we'll do. Honey, we've been talking. I haven't slept for days. It's your voice in my head when I'm alone. I'm beginning to feel crazy in old familiar ways. Do we have to go through this again? It's not like before. I want this on the floor. And love, I think it's time for you to choose. Honey, close the door. This time I want more. And talking is the last thing that we'll do. seem to start them on your own. I'm beginning to remember that you were always right, and you will still be right when I'm gone. It's not like before. I want you on the floor. And love, I think it's time for you to choose. Honey, close the door. This time I want more. And talking is the last thing that we'll do. Talking is the last thing that we'll do.